Hello, beautiful Leo. Welcome back to Moonrise Cottage for your April 2018 Soul Tarot reading. And happy spring. My gosh, I'm really reveling in the beautiful notion of spring. For those of you that are returning, I'm really glad to have you back. Thanks for all your love and support. I just want to shout out my gratitude to each and every one of you who are accompanying me on my journey. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. I use the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck developed by Caitlin Matthews. The picture that you're seeing is a photograph of a butterfly who showed up here at my house. I'm going to tell you a little story about that. Before I forget, I just want to let everyone know that, remind you to go and check out my website. I would love some feedback. It's moonrisecottagesoultarot.com. You can click through to my website directly from the photograph on my channel. Everything you need is there. All the readings, all the descriptions, information about the distance healing and medium services, and the live stream. So back to the butterfly. A couple of weeks ago, just after an incredibly intense storm, and just before another storm that came just a few days later, we had a 50-degree day, and I went outside and just sat in the sun for a few minutes. When I came back in the house, I saw this beautiful butterfly, and I was really shocked. I don't know where she came from, but I found it very inspiring, and I don't take these things lightly. I believe that that's a direct message for all of us about the messages that have been coming through regarding the first quarter of the year, during which Spirit talked a lot. I'm actually going to transition over and say hello. I forgot. Hi, everybody. So this beautiful butterfly came from who knows where, in the midst of a really intense winter here in the Northeast. Spirit's been talking about transformation and evolution and evolving and transforming. There's another word, and my tongue is stuck, but nonetheless, I'm going to toggle back to the photo for you. Nonetheless, to have this event happen here in an extremely unlikely way, these things happen here at Moonrise Cottage from time to time. I find them beautifully mystical. I've had visitations from an entire hive of bees that came and rested on the house for a while. Believe it or not, I've had a hawk fly into my house and sit on the couch looking down at me while I was taking a nap. You can imagine my surprise when I opened my eyes. So this time it's a butterfly, and it's right in line, as always, with what is happening here. And just as you are shifting and changing and evolving, metamorphosis from the inside out, Spirit says. This beautiful notation of emerging and preparing to fly into your destiny in this beautiful way. So the beautiful butterfly hung out with me. I was trying to figure out how to feed her and what to do, and I didn't feel that I could let her outside, so she was just kind of here hanging out with me for probably 2 or 2.5 weeks. And I was just trying to listen for the messages and giving thanks for the fact that the message of her being here was very loud. Eventually, I decided to do a little live stream with her presence. That's on the playlist if you want to look at it. And I talked about, the butterfly animal medicine, and I pulled a rune, I did a reading. So if you have an interest, go and look at that. Just for the collective, what does this signify for us in these moments? It's fairly transparent in a certain way. And the day, two days, maybe 3 days after I did the reading, she passed away, sitting here on the desk where I do the readings. And so I just was filled with emotion and gratitude. I just wanted to share that with you before we jump into your reading, okay? So we're going to preview, and in the light of that information, Spirit says, take a look at the cards for March, just to remind you. So, as I was saying, having come through the winter solstice and coming through the first quarter of the year, there was a process unfolding that was about this notion of emergence and evolving and taking the steps to prepare, Spirit saying, for the flight, for the journey of 2018. And those are the messages that were coming through. So last month, we saw your evolution. The card over the top was a Major Arcana card, the beautiful Counselor of Truth. It's about coming into your own, coming into a place where you are your touch point for wisdom, and because you have evolved into the beautiful truth of the totality of your being. And sitting to the left of that, we see this beautiful courtship about this knowledge, a new place for you, having emerged, if you will, and evolved in this way. And as the energy went forward through the reading, there were notions about the star card, which we see on the bottom left. That is the beautiful dreamer of growth, able to look from this position you're in now, both sides across the veil, able to have the ability for manifestation, and in a sense, it's about genius. It's about being able to bring forward based on the totality of your being, is what Spirit was talking about. And right next to that, we see a real prophecy. That is the beautiful woman of art, the beginning of happiness, being literally able to manifest your dreams and a new life, the type of spiritual engagement Spirit says that you are interested in having because you have emerged from your cocoon. And no surprise, right next to that, a new life, a new birth. If you look at that card with the beautiful Queen of Skill holding this new life, and you look up diagonally to the left, you will have some more information about how your human journey is exactly in line with what is happening on the soul level of your being, and how your efforts in the soul realm are reflected here on earth. And you can do that with both corners. Going forward into 2018, Spirit wants us to look a little more deeply, more complex way into the reading. So we see you in the center, on your knees, having this quest, this new courtship with knowledge. And if you look at the bottom left, that's the first step on the human walk. We'd see the star card, the dreamer of growth, based on this courtship with divine knowledge. And rising diagonally up to the right, we see the last card in the spirit realm, having everything to do with standing before the sacred font, Spirit is saying, of all wisdom. And so as the energy rises through the reading, the other thing that was significant about this, two things, we see on the left, in the middle, the beautiful King of Battle, whose journey it was to regrow, to recapture some part of himself that had been severed. And so that is the nature of this reemergence and this transformation that has been taking place, again, as Spirit said last month, based on all the hard work you did in 2017. This is the place that was prophesied that you would be arriving. And we have the beautiful shamaness standing in the middle above the courtship of knowledge and the prophecy that we see on the human realm. It's beautiful how the accompaniment now begins to reflect in a way that feels much more literal to me. The journey that you're having, the walk you are literally moving through, reflecting now the efforts that you are putting forth in your soul journey. And the outcome is about dialogue, a new type of dialogue with the spirit realm to review who you are and recapture the sacred identity that the King of Battle had to do in order to rise back to his position of power. I love this reading in so many ways. Now take a look at the cards for April. With that in mind, Spirit says, all about evolving and shifting and emerging and changing and dreaming about your growth coming forward. Here in March, sitting over the top of the reading, we see the Spirit card is the warrior of skill. One of the things I love so much about this being here is that the warrior of skill, his, it's funny, lately Spirit's been saying superpower. Okay, there's a little bit of laughter going on in the background about the way that humans express themselves and the things that we feel drawn to. And so this notion of all of these movies that are being made about the cartoons and the comic books of youth, there's just stuff coming in about that. It's about the notion of someone who's able to respond, and in a way that is superhuman, so to speak. And that's what Spirit's talking about. When we join these parts of ourselves and we become critically aware. So there we are, right over the top. So Spirit's saying his superpower. Okay, you know what? Spirit's saying the words are coming through this way because I'm talking to Leo. and what I'm getting is you'll understand what that means. And I think it's because Leos hold so much power. All right, so the warrior of skill, who responds to sacred impulse. He just stands, waiting for sacred impulse to strike him. And he jumps on top of his horse, and he rides straight into it. That's his job. That's the part he plays in the totality of the energy that you cycle through. Okay, so let's toggle back to the cards for a moment. Take a look at that, and you know what? Spirit's asking me to go back to March. So take a look at the warrior of skill and what sits next to him on the left. There you were in March, having this new courtship with knowledge and the notion of a new life coming, evolving, regestating, recapturing parts of yourself in a shamanistic way. That card sitting next to the warrior of skill is the Sacred Mother. This is the shaper of growth. And last month, we had the dreamer of growth. The Sacred Mother, this is a major arcana card, sitting in the place that indicates you, your energy, the aspect in which you stand for the month of April. Okay? So, Spirit's talking about the universal Om. This is the energy through which all human beings must pass in order to arrive here. And so, because we saw those notions of a new life and rebirth and regestation and recapturing to come to a new place, you are being given all the bounty that you need for this new journey because you have arrived. You have come through the transformative cycle. And it's beautiful to me that this shows up here in this way. The first card on the human walk is you. That is the card that indicates Leo. That is the strength card. It is also a major arcana card. So in a sense, we have two major arcana cards in a row. There it is. What I love about this card for you is not only is it in a very pointed way speaking to the Leo energy, this is the empowerment of your will. And there's the soul sitting on the lap. That is the sacred goddess of victory. And she came to victory because she was able to follow the pattern of the energy and use it as a tool of divination in order to come to victory. She holds the unbeatable sword. And the mythology of this card is about a very famous woman who actually did exist, who fought battles against the Romans in the time of the Druids. And she was, to everyone's shock, she was victorious and took back the land. Eventually, they entrapped her, and she didn't come to a good end. But there is a lot of mythology if you want to go and look that up. It's a really fascinating story. And so Spirit's talking about what happens when you're able to take up your power, how it moves you forward, and it can change destiny and the outcome of the people, Spirit says. Okay? So right next to that, having been empowered, taking the soul journey in the way you're taking it, we come to another quest. Last month, you had the beautiful card. Let me put it there for you so you can see. Last month on the top left, you had the quest of skill. What it is when a soul takes the next step in its journey and goes through its sacred transformation with all of the wisdom that is available to it in this mystical process accompanied by the shamaness in order to stand in front of the bowl of all wisdom to take the next step and transform its journey. And so here you are. The quest this month has come into the human realm. The card next to the Empowerer of Will is the quest of art, the art of returning to the source. And I'm going to transition back. Do you see the top card on the far right? That is you returning to the source in the soul level. And this month we see that quest happening on the human level. Let me transition over and show you the card. There it is. So your soul journey, the yin and yang of your soul journey has come into you. And that's why the butterfly is here. It is about the notion of returning to the source and making this incredible discovery. So that's salmon. Salmon returns to its source. And this is the quest that you are on the human level. And Spirit again is talking about throughout 2018, but this is the aspect for April. It's quite beautiful. And a surprise, a lovely surprise that fills you with a lot of eagerness. Look at that. The blue garment is transformation. The red hat signifies the intelligence and the passion with which your mind engages in this quest to return to the source within you. And it's about understanding like a butterfly. I'm going to toggle back to that picture. Hang on. Spirit wants me to show it to you while I chatter. So, Spirit's saying, does a caterpillar know that it's a butterfly? Philosophical questions like that are coming through. And we don't know the answer. But in our human realm, do we know that we really are a soul walking in a human shell? Something happens. And the butterfly turns itself, the caterpillar turns itself literally inside out to make a cocoon and suspend itself from a branch in order to have a deep transition so that it can reemerge in a new form in order to meet its destiny. And that is what is happening now in the human realm. You have the strength to do it. You are following the energy pattern in order to return to the source. And when that walk goes to its next step, we have another prophecy. So last month there was a prophecy about the beginning of happiness on the human realm, sitting next to the beautiful dreamer of growth, bringing forth a new life. This month we see the quest of art, and next to it, a second prophecy. It is beautiful male energy. It is about coming to a new place and being able to send forward. This is the augury of skill. So again, note the blue garments of shift and change and transition, and the openness from the will center all the way up. What I love about this Leo is, that to me, it looks like you. If we were going to make, a sort of androgynous looking photograph, I love the fiery hair. I love that it's wild, youthful, male energy. Coming to a place, the beginning of new skills and the ability to send them out in a very powerful way in order to create the society that is desired. That's what this card is about. I just am so grateful that it's coming out this way. Interestingly enough, Spirit's stumbling my tongue. The bridge card, Spirit wants me to call it the Spirit card. So the Spirit energy, that is the bridge between the spirit realm and your human walk, that's causing you to cross into this realm, is another card about discussion. It's incredibly beautiful. So the outcome for last month was about sacred dialogue. There it is. And this month, that becomes the bridge. So the bridge card is the dialogue of art. It is about the art of using the aperture of the moon, and I believe I've been saying this because it keeps coming through. There are 2 full moons in March. Today's the 27th, so a couple more days, we'll have the second full moon. It is the last double, blue moon, 2 moons in a month until 2020. So Spirit's been talking about there's an aperture, there's an opening. Utilize this time in order to transition, to understand the transformation, and to be in this beautiful river of knowledge that comes in these moments under the light of the full moon. And new growth coming, right? Those are all the sort of the things that we see in the illustrations. Each one of them has meaning. So there's the light of the moon illuminating this beautiful tower. This is Merlin and his sister sitting in the moonlight, communicating with each other telepathically and joining their energy in order to activate the yin-yang of the sacred river of knowledge that flows to them. Merlin's sister built this tower for him with many windows so that he could see out over the land in any way he desired to look in order to gain as many perspectives to add to his wisdom and his knowledge. I love that. And here we are talking about the things that were transitioning last month, having come full circle. And, a butterfly showing up in the northeast of the United States with raging snowstorms, there's no way that that's even possible. And yet she arrived here. And so Spirit's talking in the background about this journey, understanding this river of energy, whether you see it or not, whether you think it's possible or not. Don't doubt it, because it's happening. Right above that, a first step on the spirit realm, we see the beautiful Protector of Lore, a major arcana card. So on the left-hand column, we see this beautiful empowerment of will on the human realm, being ready to go on this journey, this quest of art, and a prophecy about new skills. And so the bridge card, of course, is a conversation with the spirit realm in the light of the full moon. So as the months go forward, continue to focus on the aperture of the moon, Spirit keeps saying. Last month, in March, in that position, we had this notation of a rebirth, a regestation on the spirit realm, a new journey taking place with a shamanistic guide. And this month, we see you emerging. It's amazing, isn't it? I really am so grateful. There you are, emerging, having evolved, standing in the full light of the sun. All the gifts you need being given to you in the representation of this card. This is the Protector of Lore on the spirit realm. We see you standing on the ground of the ancients, and we see the sacred spiral turning. So your soul is involved while you journey here on the earth with this empowerment of your will. Your soul has evolved and emerged into this state of being in order to bring forward all the bounty. And Leo, once again, there you are. I love it. This, in the traditional tarot, would be the World card, bringing to you all the bounty of the sun, of a sun sign, and the strength in which you have now emerged in this way. Spirit's talking about the butterfly. Like the butterfly, there you are. You are tattooed, you are marked. You have been completely transformed right down to your shoes. Look at that. I love it. The next card, over the Shaper, the energy rising from the human realm, the quest of art, taking its energy from the Sacred Mother who brings to you all the bounty you need. Above that, we see again the Counselor of Truth, It's a phenomenal progression. Check it out. Check out where that was last month. That was the message over the top. That was the spirit theme, the counselor of truth. And a spirit saying, in a way, it was sort of a prophecy, a teaser ad about where you were going. And so on the spirit realm, the counselor of truth came to bring the light and the theme for this reading because you were, in a way, transforming. And now that has taken its place next to the beautiful protector of lore and above the shaper. Your soul has evolved in such a way that it is leading your human journey forward in a very particular way, coming to a touch point. Spirit's, again, saying the word prophecy. I think because there's been so much prophecy in the readings since January, I'm being corrected. Since the solstice, since the winter solstice. And now having this energy activated on the soul destiny that you are unwinding in the heavens, Spirit says. So I'm going to show you the card again, even though we saw it last month. There it is. The Counselor of Truth. Interestingly, standing in the light of the sun, a lot of pink energy, a lot of vibrancy. This is about coming to a place of maturity and being able to stand in the light of your own truth and understand the totality of your being. Activating yourself, trusting yourself. And so, it seems even on a soul level, because the empowerer of will is here on the human level, I love the sort of the circle of the energy, and that's what Spirit's talking about in the background, that your soul is able now, in this next phase of development, to lead the way forward because it has come to its own touch point. And it stands on the ground of the ancients in the light of the sun. So both of those gentlemen, and interestingly, if you look at this reading, there's a lot of male-informed energy. So those two gentlemen, each standing in the light of the sun, one of them standing on the sacred ground of the ancients, so to speak, the protector of ancient lore. And the next visage, Spirit says, is a little bit closer to closer in, about a personal touchstone. So one is sort of the widest aspect, the next one narrows it down and brings it closer to Spirit saying, where you live. So on a soul level, that is the energy that's vibrating. Spirit's talking about the sun. Next to that, we see the adventure of art. I love it. The adventure of art stands on the top of the far right column. If you look on the human realm on the bottom, we see a prophecy, new skills being developed. And the spirit message over the top of the reading was about responding to sacred impulse. And of course it sends you on an adventure in order another step closer to regaining something that had been taken away. It is about recapturing and turning the destiny of your life on the soul level. It's exciting to me the way this has transitioned. It's really beautiful. So those of you who don't know, this is a little story about the sacred poet, the sacred bard, who was one of the wisdom holders for the clan, utilizing this beautiful little harp in order to, accompany the songs and the poetry, etc. And there was something very important about the vibration of this instrument. It was stolen in a battle, and he had to go under cloak of night and get it back. And he went by himself, sat outside the enemy encampment, and quietly began to sing and chant and recite the poetry that would enliven the instrument. And of course, the instrument is you. This is about your soul journey, reviving itself, coming to the next place of its destiny, and causing a return. So the instrument did begin to vibrate. It rose up through the air and came right back to him, and he just carried it home. No muss, no fuss, Spirit says. It was a little scary, but it was destiny evolving because it was meant to happen. So there's something about your soul journey that is returning to itself. And on the human level, we see this notation about returning to the source. I love it. It's really beautiful. And look at the outcome. That is 2 major arcana cards sitting above each other. They fell out of the deck. I was shuffling. They came right out when I was looking for the spirit card. So this one is the Keeper of Harmony. Again, sacred male energy coming into its place of balance. In order for the strategy with which one does life to be in a central place of importance, the Keeper of Harmony. And of course, new life coming. And this one, do you see how it's male and female energy? Okay, Spirit always wants me to make note of that. Standing in the swirl of energy of the universe. That is the balancer of harmony. And so they come together. And Spirit's been talking a lot through me, as you know if you've been following along, about this issue, about this challenge, about this destiny. So with these 2 cards here, what's coming through to me is, and this is, if you look at some of the other readings, this is the new theme now. The types of cards that are coming are very different. We don't see any, horrible struggles like we saw last year. This is about evolution. This is about transformation. This is about taking wing and coming to that place where you're ready. This is about understanding the sacred energy of the yin-yang that is about what is happening in the spirit realm and what is happening in the human realm and how that energy cycles. Spirit says, effortlessly and continuously. The way the yin and yang energy cycles. This year, I guess, part of what we're going to be talking about is that. And coming to a place where we begin to really feel it, truly understand it, and begin to wield it. And that is why, Spirit's saying in my ear, that is why the empowerment of your will is here on the human realm. Because it is on the human realm that you are going to experience this journey in 2018. How phenomenal is that? I'm going to toggle back to the cards and just wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here. Spirit is sending forward a message of joy and accomplishment. Wants me to show you the butterfly one more time before I wrap it up. And talking about the colors. And so the colors of the outcome cards reflect the notion of this butterfly. Have a wonderful April. I'm thrilled to be talking about spring. I'm looking forward to seeing you in May. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all those things I always forget to say. And thanks again for your love and support of my journey. And I hope you understand that I'm sending all my love and support to you. I'm looking forward to having some discussion on the thread below the video. Leo, once again, rock on because you're awesome. And don't forget, you are your purpose. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk to you next month.